Alrighty, Patriots, so what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about proving two lines are parallel. What I mean by that, if I give you this diagram and I'm asking you, is this line and this line parallel? Are these two lines parallel to each other? Well, frankly, the answer is I don't know. I don't know if these lines are parallel or not. They don't have the arrowhead, so I can't say that they're parallel. I also can't say that they're not parallel, but I can't say that they are, so what do we do with that? Well, what we're going to do today is I'm going to show you how to prove these two lines, without them being marked with the arrowhead, are parallel. But before we do that, though, there are 6 questions that you have below on your video sheet. What I'd like you to do is pause the video, answer those 6 questions, and then I'm going to show you the answers. So go ahead and hit the pause button. Welcome back, Patriots. All right, so here we go. So this statement. So if I give you two parallel lines and I cut them with the transversal, corresponding angles must be congruent. Corresponding angles must be congruent. If two parallel lines, notice I am giving you parallel lines. If I give you parallel lines, alternate interior angles are also congruent. If I give you two parallel lines, alternate exterior angles are congruent. Nothing new. We've gone over this before. I am giving you parallel lines. You're telling me about the angles. If I give you two parallel lines and they are cut by a transversal, my consecutive interior angles are supplementary. My consecutive exterior, if I give you two parallel lines cut by a transversal, consecutive exterior angles are supplementary. Notice I'm giving you parallel lines. I'm starting by giving you parallel lines. And lastly, if I give you two parallel lines cut by a transversal, my mystery pair angles are supplementary. Remember, the mystery pair angles are any two angles that don't make one of our other pairs. Because if I give you parallel lines cut by a transversal, any two angles will always be congruent or supplementary. All right, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to take those statements, and instead of giving you parallel lines, I'm going to give you angles, and then we're going to ask, are the lines parallel? So we're flipping it around. For instance, so this time I'm saying if corresponding angles are congruent, if I give you two corresponding angles that are congruent, then the two lines cut by the transversal will be congruent. Hold on, let me pause that. So if I give you two corresponding angles, let's go with these two right here, 80 and 80. My corresponding angles are congruent. Well, if we've got corresponding angles that are congruent, right here is my transversal. Here's the shade on the inside. So there's the transversal, which means these two lines must now be parallel to each other. So we know line E is parallel to line O. What if I give you alternate interior angles? If alternate interior angles are congruent, then the two lines cut by the transversal are parallel. So if I give you these two alternate interior angles that are the same measure, let's say I go 60 and 60. I show you this picture. And then I'm like, all right, let's find out what pair of angles those are. So to determine my pair of angles, I highlight the transversal. Shade on the inside. Both of these angles are on the inside. They're interior. They're on opposite sides of the transversal. So these are alternate interior angles, bottom, top, both inside, and they are congruent. I know they're congruent because their angle measures are the same. So what do I now know? I know the two lines cut by the transversal. Oops, that was just awful. We now know line E is parallel to line O. Same with alternate exterior angles. Notice I'm flipping them. I'm telling you alternate exterior angles are congruent. So if I give you alternate exterior angles that are congruent, it doesn't matter which pair I use, this pair or the other pair. The two lines cut by the transversal must be parallel. So here's my transversal. Shade on the inside. Top and bottom, they're on alternate sides, outside, outside. So they are alternate exterior angles that are congruent. So what do we know? the two lines cut by the transversal, this line and this line, are congruent, are parallel to each other. If I've been saying congruent, I'm sorry, they're parallel. Line E is parallel to line O. Consecutive interior angles are supplementary. Remember, supplementary means angle plus angle equals 180. So consecutive interior angles, let's find those angles. So consecutive interior, highlight my transversal, shade on the inside. So both the angles have to be on the inside, and they need to both be on the same side of the transversal. So they're both on top, they're both inside. 100 plus 80 equals 180. So my consecutive interior angles are supplementary, which means, let's highlight this, E is parallel to O. I know that because the consecutive interior angles are supplementary. If consecutive interior angles are supplementary, we've got parallel lines. Consecutive exterior angles are supplementary. So let's find my consecutive exterior angles. So highlight my transversal, because both of these angles need to be on the same side of the transversal. Both will be on top or both will be on bottom. Exterior means they will both be outside. So we can use 60. 60 is on the bottom and outside, so I need bottom and outside. So we can see 60 plus 120 equals 180. These are my consecutive exterior angles. They are supplementary. I know they are supplementary because they add up to 180, which tells me line E is parallel to the other line cut by the transversal, line O. Boom. And then our last one for tomorrow is our mystery pair. Now remember, the mystery pair is any angle that doesn't make, any two angles that don't already make a pair. So if we have, let me Control Z, there we go, shade the inside, I was doing something else. All right, so let's make a pair of angles that aren't any other angles. Oh boy, so let's see. Let's start with this one on the inside. Let's call this one, I need them to be supplementary, meaning they add up to 180. So let's make this one 40. So if we go down here, these are consecutive interior, corresponding alternate interior. So the 140 would have to go there because these guys don't make a pair. And we do notice that 40 plus 140 equals 180. So my mystery pair angles are supplementary. There are two angles that don't already make an existing pair. So these two lines must be parallel to each other. Line E is parallel to line O. All right, now Patriots, if you have any other questions, remember, please come in and ask those questions because here ends the video. So let's be ready for our bell work tomorrow. And I will go ahead, or your teacher will go ahead and answer any questions that you have. So Patriots, we will see you when we see you. Peace out, and we will catch you on the flip side.